seminar. Listen to Mataji. Mataji, please take over this class. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Anjana Gopika Mataji. Thank you so much for doing the service. My Dandavat pranams to everyone on the call. I pray to all the devotees on the call that I may be able to speak something on this subject matter. We'll start off with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurum Militam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Gurum Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Deenatharinam. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pachayate Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So first of all, I would like to it was a nice message to hear that His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj is recovering. So we all continue our prayers and hope that he recovers really fast. And we are very happy that the surgery as such was very successful. So all glories to the devotees. Today, we will continue to see the Goloka Chat seminar. Just a quick recap. The previous session, we saw the Goloka Dham, that is the pink lotus, as I was mentioning previously. The pink lotus that occupies the topmost part of the chart, which I have now projected on the screen. For those of you who didn't join the previous session, this is how you can follow the class. One method is to just open the link that we have sent on WhatsApp, join the call through the link so that you can see the presentation as I am speaking, because we'll be referring to certain portions of the chart while I'm speaking. So that is a good way to follow the class. If you are unable to do that, you can just look at the Goloka chart that you have in your house. And when I point out to certain parts of the chart, you can visually see that part and then follow what I'm saying. And the other method is to just open up the Goloka chart in your device, wherever you are, and just follow what I'm saying. So these are the different ways you can catch up with what I'm talking, because as I speak, I will be referring to certain points on the chart. And today we will be concentrating on the Vaikuntha part, or the Hari Dham, which is actually very complex, and it has been described in great detail and lot of depth. And there are so many planets in the Vaikuntha realm. So it will be difficult to catch up if you don't see the picture of Vaikuntha. So make sure that you have a picture with you so that it's easy to follow. And in our previous session, we spoke about Goloka Vrindavan, that is the pink lotus, about how Sri Radha and Krishna occupy the center of Goloka Vrindavan, and about the different petals that surround the center wall. So we discussed all of that. And after we discussed the center part, that is the pink lotus, we moved ahead and we saw the quadrangular section that surrounds this lotus, which is also called as Shvetadweep. And there we saw Mathura, Jagannath, Dwaraka. These abodes of the Lord also exist in the spiritual world. And we also saw the residences of the first Chaturvyuha, that is the first Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Shankarsana. So we saw the expansions of the first Chaturvyuha on the chart, their residences, and then we saw the external part, that is how the entire Dham is protected by the four Vedas, and then how Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha are also guarding. You can see their positions in the end of the yantra as it is depicted here. And then we saw how the entire Dham is also guarded by precious jewels who are personified. And also we saw how different mantras are guarding the Dham. And then we saw the different trishuls that prevent any illegal entry into the Dham. So this is what we saw in our previous session. So now we have to continue from there, and there were some questions in the previous class which I couldn't clearly answer. So I just found a few quotes from Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada has this on Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:50-55. This is about the jewels that we were talking about. So these jewels in the material world, now this is in the spiritual world, what we saw in the previous class, these jewels at the ends of the entire Dham that we saw, these are all there in the spiritual, they are completely transcendental and they are spiritual. They are a part of Goloka Vrindavan and they are guarding Goloka Vrindavan. Now the same jewels have a representation in the material world. You can say it is a Parvat's reflection or something like that. It is kind of material. And who has these jewels in the material world is actually discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 50, verse 55. So this is the translation. Lord Varuna offered horses as swift as the mind, some of which were pure dark blue, others white. The treasurer of the demigods, Kuvera, gave his 8 mystic treasures, and the rulers of various planets each presented their own opulences. So this is the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, and this verse is in relation to the chapter which discusses about how Krishna established Dwaraka. So when Krishna established Dwaraka, after moving away from Vrindavan and Mathura, when he went to Dwaraka, Kuvera gave him some presentations and he gave his 8 mystic opulences. These are in the material world known as the 8 mystic opulences of Kuvera. And Sridhara Swami, he says that the master of the treasury is Kuvera, and these are his 8 treasures. They are called as nidhis. And they are the same names: Padma, Mahapadma, Matsya, Kurma, Audaka, Neela, Mukunda, and Shankha. So these are the same jewels that we saw in our previous session. So we see that it was later kept by Kuvera, and Kuvera gave it back to Krishna, because originally, as we see, it actually belongs to Krishna. Okay? So that was one reference I could find about these jewels. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to move forward. Okay. So we are done with the Goloka part, at least a little bit, I would say roughly done with the Goloka part. Now we'll move on to the further expansions. So just as how the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, he expands into numerous forms. We have seen this over and over in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Brahma Samhita, and so many other places, that the eternal original form of the Lord is the Swayam Rupa, Shyam-Sundar Rup, who resides in Goloka Vrindavan. And he expands into several forms, just like how when one candle is lit by other candles, all the other candles look very similar to the original candle. But there is one original candle, right? So this is a verse from Brahma Samhita. So that original candle is the Shyama-Sundar Rupa, 2-armed form, Kishore Krishna, who is that young boy. And from him, all the other expansions of the Supreme Lord, the entire tree of Vishnu Tattva emanates. So all of them are the same Supreme Lord, but in different forms. Now, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela chapter 20, the entire tree of Krishna's expansions, as it is shown in the chart that I'm projecting, is already being discussed. And if you want to see, you can also see in the Goloka chart, you will find it's called as the expansions of Krishna chart that is being put, I think, towards the right corner. You can see where the chart is. So this has multiple details, and these are all picked from the 20th chapter of Madhya Leela Chaitanya Charitamrita. where all these details are discussed by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. It comes under Sanatana Siksha, and you can see all these forms. Now, just to simplify these forms, what we will do is that we will move on to the next slide and just pick those verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita that talk about the expansions of the Lord. So why is it important to know about this? Is because just like how the Lord's forms expand, similarly the Dham of the Lord also expands. So we just saw Goloka Vrindavan, which is the topmost residence of the Supreme Lord. Just like how his forms expand, similarly that Supreme Abode also begins to expand into several abodes. And the entire thing together is called as Vaikuntha. But for convenience sake, we also separate the special abode of the Supreme Lord, topmost spiritual world of Goloka Vrindavan. So what about the rest of the abode? That's what we are going to see today. So that is called as Vaikuntha, or it is also called as Haridham, as it is represented on the chart. So first let's see how Krishna expands, and then we will see how the Dham expands. Okay. So from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 20, verses 188 to 192, I have projected on the screen. So in simple words, you can refer to the verses. Meanwhile, I'll tell you in very simple terms how Krishna expands. So first, we have the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Krishna. And from Krishna, Krishna's first expansion, known as Balram, he expands. Okay. So that is what is mentioned in the first verse. Sri Balram is the Prabhava Prakasha manifestation of Krishna. So from Krishna, the original person, we have the first expansion, Balaram. From Balaram, we have the original quadruple expansion of Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. Okay, they are called as Prabhava Vilas. Don't worry about the names, we'll just remember this part. We will think first, remember that first it is Krishna and then Balaram, and from Balaram, the first Chaturvyuha. So where is this first Chaturvyuha? We saw that they have taken residence in the quadrangular portion. We just saw that in the chart on the pink lotus. In the outskirts of the pink lotus, we see Shvetadvipa, and there we see the first Chaturvyuha who has taken position there. Okay. And where did they come from? They came from Balaram. Where did Balaram come from? He comes from the original Shyamasundar Krishna. Okay. Now, from this first Chaturvyuha form, there are actually unlimited quadruple forms that are expanding from him. Okay, this is not shown on the chart. And Prabhu, who presented this chart, who from ISKCON Salem, in one of the seminars, he also mentioned that since the chart has limited capacity, they were unable to show the several expansions that are coming from the first Chaturvyuha. So this is not seen on the chart. We just see the first Chaturvyuha on the chart. Okay. Now, from there, from the first Chaturvyuha, what happens is there is an expansion of the Lord called as the Narayana Rupa, or the Narayana form of the Lord. Okay. You see that in 192, verse 192, it says that Lord Krishna again expands. Lord Krishna again expands within the Paramvyuha, the spiritual sky, as the four-handed form of Narayana. And from this Narayana, again another set of four-handed forms expand, and we are called as the second Chaturvyuha. Okay, the same Vasudeva, Aniruddha, Pradyumna and Shankarsana again come from the form of Narayana. And from the second Chaturvyuha, again several four-handed forms come and emanate. That is what is actually seen in the Vaikuntha Dham. Okay, this is how Krishna expands. Now, before the Narayana Rupa is coming out, don't worry now too much about how these forms are coming. We will see that when we get into the blue lotus. But before we get into the exact form of seeing Narayana and seeing the second Chaturvyuha and further emanations, what we will do is we'll make a short stop at Ayodhya. Okay? So the Ayodhya realm of Lord Sri Ramchandra and his associates is considered to be higher in terms of rasa. So another point that I'm not sure if I made in the previous session is that please don't think that all these planetary systems are vertically arranged. Okay, They are all shown in a chart in a vertical manner for us to understand how the rasas are actually higher in the spiritual world of Goloka Vrindavan as compared to other parts of the spiritual world. That's why it's put one on top of other. That's how it's represented on a chart. But in the spiritual world, they are all like, dhams that are, you can think that they are all floating in 3 dimension. You cannot show three dimension stuff on a chart. So that's the reason it is represented one over the other. So now we are going to stop at Ayodhya Dham. This is where Ayodhya Dham is located. Okay? And it is higher than the Vaikuntha Dham, but yet it is represented lower than Goloka Vrindavan, Mathura, Jagannath Puri, and Dwaraka.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Preethi, Vilasini, I hate to interrupt you. Hare Krishna, Mataji's, Prabhuji's, can everybody check to make sure their phones are on mute? Please put your phones on mute. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Okay. So now we are going to stop at Ayodhya Dham and see what is there in Ayodhya Dham. As you see in the chart itself, you don't see much information about Ayodhya Dham. But in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami, he gives a little bit information about this Dham. So he says, within the spiritual realm, there is this radiant city or radiant spiritual abode known as Ayodhya. And this entire city is decorated with garlands and leaves, and there are 4 entrances to this dham, surrounded by gateways and huge gopurams or towers, and they are richly decorated with a lot of gold and studded with jewels. So it's a very opulent place. And this very Ayodhya, this very dham means, Ayodhya means that place that cannot be attacked. Ayodhya, right? So it cannot be attacked by anyone, or it cannot be touched by material nature, and this is the abode of Lord Sri Ramchandra. Okay, it's also known as Aparajita. In some places, it is known as the Great Saketa Dham. All this is the Ayodhya in the spiritual world. So who resides there? The predominating deity there is the first Chaturvyuha. You see that the first Chaturvyuha at the ends of the Goloka Vrindavan, they actually, the 4 of them, Vasudeva, Shankarsana, Pradyumna and Aniruddha, they actually expand themselves as Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrugna. The 4th Adi Chaturvyuha, the first Chaturvyuha that is surrounding the pink lotus, Goloka Vrindavan, they are expanding themselves and they are coming as these 4 personalities who are Ram, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrugna. So all the 4 of them, they take residence there. Now, this is according to the text known as the Vishnu Dharmottara Purana. Rupa Goswami clarifies. But whereas there is another understanding as well, that these 4 personalities are actually, Ram is Lord Narayana himself, Lakshman is Shesha, Bharata is Chakra or the discus of the Lord, and Shatrugna is the conch of the Lord. So there are 2 ways of understanding the identity of these 4 personalities. And these 4 personalities, they reside in Ayodhya Dham. So this is all the information we have about Ayodhya Dham. So from this we can conclude that the incarnation of Ram is actually an eternal personality. He actually eternally resides in the spiritual world, and he comes to the material world for the sake of pastimes. Okay, so it is not some temporary form, rather it is a permanent form that is there in the spiritual world. So now we will move ahead and see the actual Haridham. So now I request everyone to concentrate on the blue lotus. This is what we are going to see in detail today, and this will be the rest of the class. Okay. So this Vaikuntha or this spiritual abode is the abode of Lord Vishnu or Lord Narayana. Now, sometimes the word Vishnu and Narayana is used interchangeably, but it has been clarified in several places, and even Tamal Krishna Maharaj actually points this out, that in the spiritual world, the Lord is known as Narayana. But when he expands himself and begins creation, the Karanodakashayi Vishnu, the Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, and the Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, they are known as Vishnus. Okay? technical stuff. It's okay to interchange the names, but in general, the form that is seen in the spiritual world is Narayana. Vishnu doesn't reside in the spiritual world, just an information, but it's okay to interchange the names. That is fine. Okay. So this spiritual abode, Hari Dham, is actually the predominating deity is Lakshmi Narayana and his consorts. So we'll see further about what all is there inside this part of the spiritual world. So this is the eternal spiritual world that never decays. And we all saw that the spiritual world is 3/4 and the material manifestation is just 1/4 of the entire creation. So we can imagine how tiny we are. First of all, we are a very small percentage of people who have decided to come to the material world. And we are really suffering here, and we should understand that actually maximum number of people are there in the spiritual abode, and that is our home. So we should take all efforts to go back to the place where we belong. So this transcendental abode, Vaikuntha, is free from all kinds of miseries, illusions, fear, and it is adored by all the self-realized persons, and everyone aspires to go back to the spiritual world. The spiritual world is neither in the mode of passion, nor is it in the mode of ignorance, nor is it in the mode of goodness. That means it is in the mode of only pure goodness. Only pure goodness is present there. And there is absolutely no influence of Maya or influence of time. So in our previous session, we had this discussion about time. I think Rajeshwari Priya Mataji was asking this question, and Kirtida Mataji was also mentioning about this factor of time. So time is not there in the spiritual world in the sense that there is no aspect of deterioration. It is in the material world. When we have an object, or even us in human bodies, all of us, we are subject to deterioration or destruction over a period of time. Everything decays. That is called as kala. Kala is that which actually deteriorates stuff in the material world. But whereas in the spiritual world, there is a sense of time, but the time is not deteriorating. Okay, there is a sense of time. Like why we say there is a sense of time is because there are activities going on in the spiritual world for the pleasure of Krishna. Everything is happening for the pleasure of Krishna. It's not still. Okay, so there is activity going on for his pleasure, but there is no aspect of deterioration in the spiritual world. And the inhabitants there, all the eternal residents there, they are very radiant. They have bluish complexion. Okay, most of the residents there have bluish complexion. We'll see if they have other complexions as well. Okay, they have beautiful eyes like lotus petals. They are ever youthful, just like the Supreme Lord. They are always in the brim of their youth, and they are very opulent. And these residents, some of them, they also have complexions resembling coral, Vaidurya, and celestial lotuses. That means, what does it mean to say that the residents of Vaikuntha may have other colors also? It means that each of these who worship a form of Lord Narayan that has a complexion other than blue also has a body that has the same color as the Lord he worships. Okay, so generally we know that the Supreme Lord is bluish black. Okay, but sometimes he also takes on other colors. We have seen the we have seen the Yuga avatars. The Yuga avatars sometimes appear in different colors. So there are some incarnations that may be slightly in different colors, and their associates who reside with this Lord also take on the color just like their worshipable Lord. So that is also mentioned by Srila Rupa Goswami in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita, and he takes all these references that we are reading about the spiritual world from Padma Purana. He quotes each and every word where he's picking these verses from. So even our acharyas, they're very clear about where they pick verses. So Srila Rupa Goswami, throughout the Laghu Bhagavatamrita, he gives references. This is said in the Padma Purana. This reference is from the Vishnu Dharmottara Purana. Like that, he picks the references and he gives it us, presents it to us for easy understanding. So he's consolidated everything about Vaikuntha in this particular section that we will be discussing today. So the entire reference is from Laghu Bhagavatamrita. So this Vaikuntha is filled with so many airplanes, and the associates of the Lord, along with their wives, they shine very beautifully along with their husbands. And the center is Lord Narayan. And the goddess of fortune is present there, and she is serving her husband, Lord Narayan. This Supreme Lord Narayan, he looks very, very attractive. He has a beautiful smiling face, and his eyes are reddish. He's dressed in yellow garments. He wears beautiful shark-shaped earrings, and a beautiful crown adorns his hair. He has 4 hands. You can imagine all this, how Lord Narayan looks. His opulence is described. He has 4 hands. His chest is decorated with the mark of Srivatsa. Srivatsa is the golden line that is also the residence of Mahalakshmi, who sits on the chest of Lord Narayan. And also he wears his Kaustuba gem. Now, we just saw that the residents of Vaikuntha, they are very similar to the Lord. They have 4 arms and they have this bluish complexion like the Lord. And if the Lord takes on a different complexion, they take on that complexion as well. They are very much dressed like the Lord. They also have Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. They have everything. They also have 4 arms. So, but a question may be asked, then how do you differentiate Lord Narayan from the rest of the residents, right? So, this question has been answered again by Srila Prabhupada in his purport and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and others, that the differentiating aspect of Lord Narayan from the rest of the residents is 2. One is the Srivatsa mark. Of course, the residence of the goddess of fortune can be only on the chest of Narayan. It doesn't happen on everyone's chest, right? So, the Srivatsa mark and the Kaustupa gem, these 2 are kept only by the Lord. The rest of the others will not have these 2 identity, that is having the Kaustuba and the Srivatsa. The rest of them will have 4 arms and they'll have other aspects, but they will not have this. So this is the special characteristic of the Lord. Okay? Then, this Lord Narayan, he's seated on the throne, and this throne that you're seeing here in the center of the world, these are the references that I have taken pictures of, and these are all from Laghu Bhagavatamrita for the description of the spiritual world. I'm scrolling through those slides. Okay. Now we'll go to the center. We'll just see where the Lord Narayan is seated. You see that Lord Narayan, the 4-armed form we were describing all this while, he and his wife, they are, or rather his consort, both of them, they are seated on a particular throne. Now, this throne is actually the Vedas personified themselves. And this Supreme Lord, he is surrounded by all his energies. Okay, and all his energies are serving him, several energies. This throne is also called as Mahayoga or Yoga Pita. Okay, that is another name for the throne. And what is the throne? It is all the Vedas personified. This whole city of Vaikuntha, or this whole realm of Vaikuntha, is decorated by huge towers and gateways, and it is guarded in all directions. Okay, who are the guardians of Vaikuntha? That we can see here. I'll zoom this picture. You can see here. The guardians of Vaikuntha, we have Chanda Prachanda. You can see on the eastern gate, you can see Chanda Prachanda. Then you can see Bhadra Subhadra in the southern gate, Jaya Vijaya on the western gate, and you can see Dhata and Vidata on the northern gate. So these are the guardians of the 4 gates of the Vaikuntha Dham. They are guarding Vaikuntha. Now, other than them, there are also guardians in different directions. All the directions have to be guarded. Other than the gates, there are also guardians located in different directions. Who are they? They are Kumuda, you can see in the east side. Kumudaksha, you can see here. Then you can see Pundarika, Vamana, Shankukarna. Shankukarna is in the west. And then you have Sarvanetra and you have Sumukha, who's in the north. So these are the guardians of the different directions of the Vaikuntha realm. Other than that, they are also gatekeepers in the north, east, south, and west. Everywhere, there are also two gatekeepers in each place. Okay, and this city has many residents, and all of them are in the prime of their youth. And there are many, many eternal associates of the Lord, many transcendental apsaras. They are not ordinary material apsaras. They are transcendental. That means they are eternal associates of the Lord, and they continuously sing the glories of the Lord there. In the center pavilion, we'll focus the center pavilion there here. In the center pavilion, we have the auspicious seat or auspicious throne of Lakshmi Narayana, and this throne is the embodiment of all the Vedas. That is what we were seeing sometime back. I'll go to that slide. Okay, so this is the central world where they are seated on the throne. So within the throne, okay, or within the center, you will see that the deities of fire, sun, moon, Adisesha, Kurma and Garuda, all of them take residence there. Now these demigods that are mentioned, deities rather, they are not demigods. The deities of fire, sun and moon, these are not demigods, okay. They are the original form of the fire, sun and the moon that is residing there, okay. They are the original. They are not jivas that are empowered to function in material nature. No, these are all original prototypes that are present in the spiritual world, and they take their first residence around the Lord, serving the Lord. So here in the picture that is being represented on the chart, you can see Garuda. You can see Garuda here. So Garuda is offering prayers, and this Garuda is actually the Lord of all the Vedas. So we have in one previous session, I think it was in the Ramayana, we were talking about glories of Garuda. So this Garuda, he embodies all the Vedas. He is the Vedas personified. And the flapping of Garuda's wings, Prabhupada writes, is actually the Samaveda. And he says the essence of all the Samaveda is actually included by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he gave the Yuga Dharma of chanting the holy names. So he says Hare Krishna Mahamantra itself is the embodiment of the entire Samaveda. So you can imagine how powerful Hare Krishna Mahamantra is, and the glories of Garuda, how Garuda actually embodies all the Vedas within himself. Okay, and the best of the Vedas, which is the Samaveda, is actually the flapping of Garuda's wings. So he is there, residing there, serving the Lord. You can see where Ananta is located, Ananta Adisesha. He's serving the Lord in different capacities, and it is Lord Balaram actually who expands as Ananta. So we see how Ananta serves the Lord in various capacities. And then you have Vishwaksena. This Vishwaksena is actually the commander-in-chief of Lord Narayan's army. And he takes a very important role, especially in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. If you have heard, the entire Sampradaya actually emanates from Mahalakshmi, the consort of Lord Narayan. And from her, it is given to Vishwaksena. Vishwaksena is a very important role in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. He is like the Adi Guru, like how Narada is very important for us in the Brahma Madhva Gauri Sampradaya. Similarly, Vishwaksena is given very prime importance. You can see Vishwaksena is actually having 4 arms, and he's seated on a lotus. This is the form of Vishwaksena. Okay? So Vishwaksena is also closely present with the Lord. And not only that, you see the 4 legs of the throne are actually represented by Dharma, which is religion, Jnana, which is knowledge, Vairagya, which is renunciation, and Aishwarya, which is all opulence. So all of these, in their personified form, they are actually constantly serving Lord Narayan at the center. So Dharma, Jnana, Aishwarya, and Vairagya are continuously serving the Lord. We also see the original form of Kurma that is helping hold up Ananta, and together they are serving the Lord at the center. So we see the personification of Dharma here, Jnana here, Vairagya here, and Aishwarya here, and we saw Garuda, Vishwaksena, Kurma, Ananta. Okay, now we'll come to Bhu and Leela Devi very soon, who are standing here. We'll come to see who they are. Okay. So the Lord on the throne, the Supreme Lord, he sits with a dark blue complexion. His limbs are very delicate. The soles of his palm and feet, they are reddish. He has lotus petal-like eyes. he's got creeper-like eyebrows. He has a lovely raised nose, broad forehead, lotus-like mouth, teeth like pearls, and his lips are like the color of coral. He's got very soft, curling hair that decorates his face, and some of his hair is tied to a top knot, and it is decorated with mandara and parijata flowers. So Rupa Goswami is describing his beauty in great detail. And then he says, of course, there's the Kaustubha gem and a pearl necklace that embraces his neck. And these decorate his beautiful corn-shaped neck, actually corn-shaped. It's called as Kambu Griva, a three-lined corn-shaped neck that the Lord has. He has a mark of Srivatsa, which is a golden line on his chest, which is also the abode of the goddess of fortune, Mahalakshmi. To his left sits his consort, goddess Mahalakshmi. She has a very fine golden complexion, and she's decorated with jewels top to bottom. Right from her lotus feet to her crown, she's completely decorated with jewels. She is also in the threshold of her youth. She wears a gem-studded earrings, which is very special because you see, even to this day, you see the deities who are worshipped, Lakshmi Narayana, predominantly worshipped in South, in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, the Madhva Sampradaya, and other southern sampradayas. You can see how opulently Lakshmi Narayana is worshipped. So the jewels they wear, you could really understand what opulence is, because this opulence is like so heavily seen in Vaikuntha. See, we saw the same opulence was there in Goloka Vrindavan, but in Goloka Vrindavan, no one cares. We saw how the Chintamani was like, kept as a doorstopper. No one really cares, So it's there, and they're all happy, but the rasa is very different there. These are all different rasas. We know predominantly in Vaikuntha, it is Aishwarya Bhav, right? So, reverence, glorifying the Lord, decorating the Lord, all this is given a lot of importance in Vaikuntha. So even now, in South, the way Lakshmi Narayana is worshipped is 100% pure diamonds, 1008 diamonds. That's how the crown is studded. Even to this day, when he is worshipped here, when the Archavigrahas are worshipped, the necklaces are real gems. They're 100% rubies, 100% Vaidurias, 100% sapphires, like that. The special earrings of Mahalakshmi are so well designed with all these rubies that are, fashioned in a particular way that suits the Vigraha. So all this is very given a lot of importance, and also that's how it is being described in scriptures. So Rupa Goswami, he talks about this in great detail, how each one of them look in the spiritual world. So she is in the threshold of her youth, and she wears gem-studded earrings. She has deep blackish blue curly hair that is again decorated with beautiful fragrant flowers. Her face resembles the full moon. She has 4 arms. All the ladies, women, they also have 4 arms. You can see all the Shaktis or all the Lakshmis. The expansion of all the Lakshmis will also have 4 arms. She wears a beautiful lotus garland strung together with gems. She's decorated with various kinds of jewels. 2 of her hands hold a pair of lotus. Even now, if you see an image of Lakshmi, you will see the back side 2 arms holding a pair of lotuses. In the other hand, she holds a martingala fruit. This is like a citrus fruit, and it is golden in color in the spiritual world. So she's holding that fruit. And the 4th arm, it doesn't talk about what she does. In some places, it is said that she gives benedictions with the other arm, the right arm that is there in the front. She gives benedictions. In some places, it says that she's embracing Lord Narayan. So this is a little different about what she does. Here in the picture, you can see actually her arms are holding lotuses. Other than that, with one arm, she's supposed to be embracing Lord Narayan, and here she's giving benediction. So these details can vary, okay, from different scriptures give different details. So this is what is seen in the Padma Purana. Then, coming to her expansions. You see Lakshmi and Narayan. So Lakshmi is sitting on the left-hand side of Lord Narayan, and he's sitting right next to her, okay? She's sitting right next to Lord Narayan. And from on Lord Narayan's either side, there are the first expansions of Lakshmi, who's known as Bhudevi and Leela Devi. And you see that in the center here. First you see Lakshmi being seated on the throne, and on either side you can see Bhu and Leela Devi. Neela or Leela, both are correct. In Bengal we say Leela. In other parts of India she's called as Neela. Okay, Neela, Leela, both are correct. So she is either called as Leela Devi or Neela Devi. Now, this Mahalakshmi is also called as Shri. Okay, so that's why this Ichha Shakti of the Lord, Lord Narayan, is represented by three energies: Shri Devi, Bhu Devi, Leela Devi. Shri Devi herself is Mahalakshmi who is seated here. Okay, so these three are the primary consorts of the Lord. The most important consort is Mahalakshmi or Shri Devi. And we also have Bhu Devi and Leela Devi or Neela Devi. That's why if you go to South India again, he's always worshipped with three consorts. You will see always the Archavigraha either has three consorts, sometimes two consorts. Sometimes Shri Devi, Bhu Devi, sometimes Shri, Bhu and Neela Devi. All of them serve Lord Narayan. Okay, and they all represent the Ichha Shakti of the Lord. In some places, Jiva Goswami has given this information that they are also in charge of the cosmic manifestation. These three energies, Ichha Shakti of the Lord, they are also in charge of cosmic manifestation. Shri maintains, Bhu Devi creates, and Neela or Leela destroys. So that's how they serve in the material world. They also represent the Aishwarya, the compassion, and the infinite happiness aspect of the Lord. So these energies also have different representations, and they embody all of these. Now, you can see the first petals. Now we just finished the whirl, the central part of Vaikuntha. Now you see, surrounding this, you will see the first round of petals. These are the 8 energies. Okay? Now, the same Ashtasakis that you saw in the pink lotus in Goloka Vrindavan, they expand themselves, and they are the 8 energies that are surrounding the Lord here. And their names are Vimala. Let's start with Vimala. Yeah, their names are Vimala, Utkarshini, Jnana, Kriya, Yoga, Prahvi, Satya, and Ishana. They are the 8 energies around the first circle or first petals, and they are also the queens of the Supreme Lord. And they are serving the Lord with chamaras with great pleasure. And these 8 Shaktis or these 8 energies of the Lord are further served by 500 more women who reside there holding lotuses serving their Lord. So we see here also Lakshmi Narayan, they are served by thousands and thousands of Lakshmis. Okay. Now I think Kirtida Mataji had a question about Vimala. So here we see this is the maximum information I could find, and if someone has other insights, they can also add in. So Mataji's question was, is this Vimala the same as the Vimala Devi we worship in Jagannath Puri? The answer is that it's not very clear. The reason is because here Vimala is considered as an internal energy of the Lord present in Vaikuntha. One understanding is that, of course, as the consorts of the Lord expand into these 8 energies, and these 8 energies, they further expand into several other energies of the Lord. And we understand that Durga Devi or the external energy of the Lord is actually an expansion from the internal energy, right? So in that sense, we can understand that this Vimala Devi is a further expansion of the Lord, that is the Vimala who's seen in Jagannath Puri. Because as far as I know, she is being worshipped as a representation of the external energy or an aspect of Durga. So we see that she's in the material world in Jagannath Puri. She's seen as one of the representations of the external energies. But here in Vaikuntha, she's seen this Vimala is actually one of the internal energies of the Lord. So there is some differentiation, and that is the maximum information that I could find. And if someone else has anything else to add, you can add it as I finish the class. Okay? So these energies, they are serving the Lord, the Ashta Shaktis that are there around the Supreme Lord. And in the center world, again, Rupa Goswami goes on to describe the center world. He talks about Anantasesha, Garuda, Vishwaksena, who's the Lord's commander, the principal demigods. We saw Chandra, Surya, Agni, all of them. Principal demigods are also there in the inner circle. They are worshipping the Lord. And there are several other eternal servants who are in turn helping these associates to worship the Lord. So, overall, we see that the mood is Aishwarya, the mood is awe and reverence. Everyone is worshipping their Lord. They are offering their respects to the Lord. The mood in Goloka Vrindavan was very different. Okay, it is very, very different. It is a lot of personal association. Here also there is personal association, but the mood has changed. It is more about worship. It is more about seeing the Lord as being great and serving Him with awe and reverence. So these are all the details of the central world. Now, similar, just like the pink lotus that we saw, just like Goloka Vrindavan, similarly here also you can see the Shatkona Yantra. Okay, that is again present here. You see the same kind of two inverted triangles that is also present here at the Yoga Peeth. But here the mantra has changed. There we saw Gopal Gayatri. Here it is the Bhurbhuvasva mantra that is actually given here. It should be there in the chart. The Brahma Gayatri mantra is actually present here serving the Lord, because we see that the embodied Vedas also serve the Lord. So the Brahma Gayatri actually serves the Lord, and you can see the Gayatri mantra will be etched around the central wall of the lotus. Okay? Then, now we have to see the most difficult part, which is the Avaranas. Avaranas means circles. Circles. We just saw the first part, first circle, which is the Ashtashaktis that are there around the first round of petals. Now we have to see each and every circle. These are all planetary planets. Okay, it is just represented as small circles here, but they are just not like these little rounds there. They are actually planets. Each and every form of the Lord has its own planet in Vaikuntha. We saw the central world, then we saw the first round of petals, and then we will go from one shell to the other. So totally, if you see in this Vaikuntha area, you will see 7 shells. They are called as the 7 Avaranas. Okay. Even now in the Srirangam temple, the way the Srirangam temple is designed is it's designed as the exact replica of Vaikuntha. That's how many temples actually are still designed. They are designed as an exact replica of Vaikuntha with 7 Avaranas, 7 surrounding shells. So they say first prahara, second prahara, it goes like that. And similarly, they have gopurams or tall towers situated in different corners surrounding the Dham. So it is an exact replica of Vaikuntha, the way they have designed it. So in this first avarana, we saw the first shell or the first avarana. We saw, whom did we see? We saw these Ashtasakis. Now, in the second avarana, the second Chaturvyuha who are expanding. So when we saw the expansions of Krishna at the beginning of the class, we said Krishna to Balarama, Balarama to first Chaturvyuha, and from the first Chaturvyuha, several other expansions come, which is not shown on the chart. From the first Chaturvyuha, we saw Lord Narayan expands. And we were all this while just talking about Lord Narayan, Lakshmi, and his immediate energies. That is what we were talking about. Now we have to see how this Lord Narayan expands into the second Chaturvyuha. So we see the residence of the members of the second Chaturvyuha in the second shell or the second circle of Vaikuntha. So who are they? They are Sri Vasudeva, Sri Shankar, Sri Pradyumna, and Sri Aniruddha. I'm moving the cursor and you can see where they are located in the second shell. And they are also accompanied by their respective consorts. Who are their respective consorts? The consort of Sri Vasudeva is called as Lakshmi. Okay, that is her name. And then Shankarsana is called as Saraswati. This is not to be confused with the Saraswati of Lord Brahma in the material world. This Saraswati is the spiritual Saraswati who is the consort of Shankarsan, who is there in Vaikuntha. These are all prototypes. You will hear the name of several demigods coming now, okay? But they are all prototypes. They are no Jiva Tattva. So we have Saraswati, who is the consort of Sri Shankarshan, and then Pradyumna's consort is Sri Devi, and Aniruddha's consort is Kanti Devi. So all of them, they are situated in the 8 directions. We've seen the 4 directions, the Chaturvyuha, and the remaining 4 directions, that is northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. You see Rati, Kanti, Lakshmi, and Saraswati. All of them are situated there. So that is the second shell. First shell, or rather, actually, let's not talk of the petals, that is the first round, as a shell. We will talk of this as the first shell. We will take that this Aniruddha, Shankarsana, Vasudeva, and Pradyumna as the first avarana. Okay. The second avarana, this is the second avarana because the petals are not considered as an avarana. They are the energies, so we don't consider them as a shell. We take only this as the first shell. The Chaturvyuha as the first shell. Now we will go on to the second shell, sides here. So the 24 expansions beginning with Keshava, they are present in all the 8 directions, and you can see this Vasudeva, he is expanded here further. This Vasudeva, Aniruddha, Pradyumna and Shankarsana, they further expand into 24 forms. Just like how the original Chaturvyuha expanded into 24 forms, similarly, these 4 forms of the Lord, they are further expanding into 24 forms. This is also discussed in Chaitanya Charitamrita and Sanatan Shiksha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talks about this in detail. When he talks about it, he also says about the form of each personality. Like, for example, here you see Keshava, then you see Sri Vasudeva, who himself expanded. You see Shankar, Narayana, then you see Purushottama, Adhokshaja. You see all these forms that are being expanded. Each of them, they are differentiated from each other based on the weapons they hold, the hand in which they hold which weapon. Like, for example, let's look at Vamana and Trivikrama. I'm pointing out the Vamana and Trivikrama. You can see that here the Gada of Vamana is placed in his left hand in the front. Whereas here for Trivikrama, you can see that the Gada is actually placed in his right hand at the back. So the way the Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma are placed in different parts of the hands, the name of the Lord also changes. And bear in mind, each of these are separate planets by themselves. Okay? So all these 24 forms of Lord Narayan are situated in the second shell or second surrounding part of this central world. So let's read the name of all of these forms. They are Keshava, Madhava, Narayana in the east. Southeast are Govinda, Vishnu, Madhusudana. South is Trivikrama, Vamana and Sridhara. Southwest is Rishikesha, Padmanabha and Damodara. In the west is the second expansion of Vasudeva, Shankarsana and Pradyumna. In the northwest, we again have Aniruddha. Then we have Purushottama, Adhokshaja. And in the north are Narasimha, Achyuta, Janardhana. In the northeast is Upendra, Hari and Krishna. So these are the 24 expansions for second Chaturvyuha. Now question, who's this Krishna, right? So, and you see that this Krishna is also a 4-handed form. You can see that Krishna is actually a 4-handed form. He is not a 2-handed form here, right? So these are all 4-handed form, and all of them are seen with awe and reverence. Okay, the same Krishna who's there in Goloka Vrindavan, he is the original 2-handed form Krishna. He is not to be confused with the Krishna that is mentioned here. The Krishna here is an expansion from there. Okay, but the mood is different. The devotees who like to worship Krishna but still see him with awe and reverence can worship him here in this Vaikuntha realm. So that is the facility that is given. And this is also explained by Tamal Krishna Maharaj. He also cites the case of Akrura. So when Akrura came, he was not in the mood of the Vrajavasis. He was in a slightly different mood. So when he came, Krishna and Balram, they showed the 4-armed form to him underwater. Remember, there is a pastime when Akrura comes and he gets a vision of the Lord. So actually, the vision of Krishna that he sees is actually in a 4-handed form. So such kind of devotees are there where we like to worship Krishna, but somewhat we like to see him in a 400 form, and that is facilitated in the Vaikuntha realm. So don't be surprised to see Krishna in the Vaikuntha and the blue lotus as well, because we are going to see him again in the blue lotus in a short while, because we have just discussed the second shell now. And also, another thing you might have noticed, you can also notice that all the other forms, like for example, Narasimha is mentioned. And you can see that this Narasimha also has a four-armed form, right? So all the incarnations of the Lord in the Vaikuntha realm actually have four-armed form. Be it Varaha, Matsya, Kurma, all of them. They all have four-handed form, and that's how they are present in the Vaikuntha realm, in the spiritual world. And there are letters of Prabhupada purport where he says that in the spiritual world, there is no half animal, half man form or animal form. Like that, it is not seen in the spiritual world. Okay? So there are some references that Prabhupada has given that in the spiritual world, generally the Lord is not seen in animal form. So the associates of the Lord, associates of Narasimha, they go to the planet where Lord Narasimha is actually there, but he's really not in a lion-like form. But the mood is there. This question I had asked Mukundatta Prabhu, and Mukundatta Prabhu clarified, saying that yes, the mood is there, the bhava is there, the feeling is there that he is Narasimha. But the actual form is actually four-handed form. It's difficult to understand, but that's how it is. So that is something I wanted to mention. That is the second shell. Now we'll move on to the third shell. So what is present in the third shell? So the third shell includes the 10 expansions beginning with Matsya Kurma in all 10 directions. So we'll have Matsya Kurma, Varaha, Vamana, Parashurama, Rama, Krishna, Balarama, Buddha, all Kalki, all of them, they occupy the next shell. Now, oftentimes this question is asked as to why are these Dashavatars so important? When we have multiple incarnations of the Lord, we know the number of incarnations of the Lord is unlimited. Bhagavatam says just like the waves of the ocean are unlimited, similarly, the incarnations of the Lord is unlimited. But then why do we give special importance to these 10? Is because actually in the Vaikuntha realm, these 10 are kind of given importance in their placement. Okay, so that's the reason you see also we have Jayadev Goswami's prayers. He also talks about these 10. And then we have the prayers of the Alvars. They also give focus to these 10. Why these 10? Because we have a special placement in the spiritual world. There. One question that can be asked is about the Shakti Avesha incarnation. Like for example, you see Parashurama here, he is not Shakti Avesha. Okay, he is actually the Lord himself. And he has the name Parashurama. But when he comes to the material world, the Jiva is empowered and he takes on the name as Parashurama. Okay, so it is not that in the spiritual world, the expansion of the Lord itself is Shakti Avesha. No, he is Swayam, he is the Lord. Okay, so see the entire Dashara listed here. Again, you see Krishna. Okay, so Krishna takes different abodes, 400 forms. Not Goloka Vrindavan Krishna. But he likes to be there even in this Vaikuntha realm, Haridham. Okay, because there are devotees who like to worship him like that, who see him that way, who have this mood for him. Now we'll move on to the next shell. So in the fourth shell, that is here, we are going to this shell. It's the picture shell that comes after the Dashavatara shell. So after the Dashavatara shell, the fourth shell, we have Satya, Achyuta, listen carefully, we have Durga, Vishwaksena, the elephant face Gajanana, sometimes known as Ganesha, and the treasure Shanka and Padma in all directions. So this is the shell. We have Satya, we have Achyuta, and then here you can see Durga, here you can see Vishwaksena, Ganesha. So these are also associates of the Lord, and they are very close associates of the Lord who live in the spiritual world, and they serve the Lord. Okay, and this Durga is actually the prototype Durga. This Ganesha is the prototype Ganesha. They are not jivas. Again, jivas of the material world. Okay, so why do the demigods of the material world have these names? Because the Lord likes to give these names of his close associates to great jivas who take on responsibilities of being great controllers like Ganesha and others. So the original one is actually there in the spiritual world. The ones we see in the material world have taken their names because the Lord likes to give the names of his very close associates who are serving him in the spiritual realm. Okay, so the name of Ganesha or others that we see, or even for that matter Chandra, Surya, all the demigods that we see in the material world have taken the names of the close associates of the spiritual world. So there is a prototype of everyone serving there in the spiritual realm. Okay, so this is fourth shell, and you see all these associates are serving the Lord in the fourth shell. Now, the four Vedas, beginning with Rig Veda, the Gayatri Devi, Garuda, and the presiding deities of religious principles, dharma and sacrifice, known as Makha. Here you can see Makha. If this is Makha, what is Makha? Yeah. You see Atharva Veda here. You see here that is sacrifice is personified. And then you can see Rig Veda here. You can see Garuda here. Again here you can see, I think here, Vishwaksena Samaveda. So you see in the next shell, you have the residences of all these personalities. They all occupy the fifth shell. Now we also saw that the religious, we saw that Jnana, Dharma, Aishwarya, Vairagya, all of them are also serving in the immediate association of the Lord, in the whirl of the lotus. Not only do they serve there, they also serve in these places. Okay, the Vedas actually come to the material world from there. So originally they have their original position in the spiritual world. We also saw their residences in Goloka Vrindavan. So the same personalities, they expand into the Vaikuntha realm, and from there again they expand into the spiritual realm. Okay? So that is the next fifth shell. Now in the next shell we see the personified conch, disc, club, churning rod, lotus, sword, saranga bow, plow. These are all the weapons of the Lord. All the weapons of the Lord occupy the next avarana or shell. You can see the conch here, you can see the mace here, and then you can see Padma. All of them are present in. These are all personified forms of the weapons of the Lord. If you see the chart as such, the Padma, mace means they have put like a gada kind of a thing, like that. So they have put actual pictures of the weapons, but actually not seen like this in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, they also have four-armed forms. The way they are differentiated is what is seen on their crown. On the crown, there is an image of Shankha, or on the crown, there is an image of Padma, lotus. On the crown, there is an image of Gada, or plow, or whatever, Sharanga bow, all these. But each of them are actually four-armed forms. And if you read the story of the Ayodhya, they all came down. Actually, these different weapons of the Lord took bodily forms and they came and they served the Lord in the material world. So all these these are all eternal associates of the Lord, Vaikuntha, and then when they come to the material world, they serve the Lord. Okay? And then finally, in the 10th shell, there is there are prototypes. These are all guardians. Okay, so for that we will move on to so that it's clear. Final shell we have to see. Okay, so in the final shell, we will have the demigods, prototype demigods like Indra, Agni, Yama, Niritti, Varuna, Vayu, Kuvera, and Ishana. So they are the protectors, Dikpalakas, like we say, the people, even the same personalities you will see even in the material world. They expand themselves into personalities in the material world. So you see Kuvera takes the northern direction. Then, let's see who stays here. You can see Niritti here. Niritti is in the southwest. You see Vayu. Vayu is in the northwest. Then you see Gayatri. Sorry, Yamaraj. Yamaraj is in the north. Like that, you will see all these associates who are actually guarding the ends of the ends of the Vaikuntha realm, and they occupy the seventh shell. And all of them are prototypes. Indra, you'll see Indra prototype. You will see Agni, Yama, Niritti, Varuna, Vayu, Kuvera, and Ishana. So Ishana is very important, and I'll take a few minutes to talk about Ishana. That is the northeast. Yeah, here you see Ishana. This place. You can see Ishana here. So this you can really relate to if you know a little bit of Vastu Shastra. So when we do Vastu, they kind of give importance to north-facing house, right? You might have heard this. North is very important. In northeast is very auspicious because north has Kubera Sthan, northeast has Ishana Sthan, and then they say south is not very good because it is Yamastan, because it's the abode of Yamaraj. And then they'll tell you where to keep your kitchen based on where Agni is present. So like that, that's how the Vastu Shastra actually emanates from the spiritual world. Why? Because these associates or prototype demigods are actually present there, they are all there. Hence, the Vastu Shastra emanates from the spiritual world. So this northeast is actually very important because this northeast is known as the Ishana Sthana, and this Ishana is none other than Sadashiva. So the Sadashiva actually resides in northeast. There's a purport that in Laghu Bhagavatamrita that is written. I just wanted to read the first paragraph of that purport. It's very interesting. It says, a group of Shaivites calling themselves as Mahashaivas refer to the Linga Purana as the authority for their conviction about Lord Sadashiva. There are a group of Shaivites who say that the Sadashiva is actually the supreme, and from Sadashiva everything comes. So it is described here that the many incarnations of Shiva and the root cause actually comes from this Sadashiva. They are saying in Linga Purana. It says, Sadashiva Karana Karanam Param Tasmacha Sarve Prabhavanti Deva. That is, Sadashiva is the supreme cause of all causes. All gods arise from him. Okay? So this is a word from Linga Purana that is being quoted by many Shaivites. But then, here Rupa Goswami very cleverly, he finds the answer in scripture itself. He is able to tell us from scripture itself who this Sadashiva is. Actually, Sadashiva is a personality who is occupying a part of Vaikuntha. Okay, so he is also an expansion of Lord Narayana, and he takes his residence in the outer realms of Vaikuntha, and he is also known as Ishana. So this is Ishana Sadashiva, who is an expansion of Lord Narayana. Okay, now why I said this part is very important is that because only from this Ishana, from this portion, this northeast direction of the spiritual world, now imagine the entire spiritual world to be in one place. Okay, just imagine Goloka, Vrindavan, all the Dhams, Vaikuntha, everything to be in one place. Now imagine the entire thing to be like one lotus and pick the northeastern point of that lotus. Okay, from there, from that Ishana, from there, that's where the entire material world actually manifests. That is where Viraja river comes, that is where Mahavishnu lies down, and from him all the planets are emanating. The point of emanation is actually northeast, but you cannot show that on a chart. So it is shown one below the other. It is very difficult to draw a lotus and then show the emanation coming from northeast on this chart. So hence they have put it in vertical. But then now we have to shift our focus from there, from the northeast end of Vaikuntha down to the Viraja. Just shift your focus and then we will discuss Sadashivaloka, we will discuss Mahakala Dham, we'll discuss Viraja River, and then we'll go to the material manifestation in our next class. So our ending point is Ishana. From Ishana, the rest of the things emanate. So questions. I don't know if I've gone over time. I've gone over time. Anyway. Oh, I wanted to say, I think I missed a few things. Here you see Niritti. Niritti is also in one of the ends. I think this is south-western she takes her residence. Niritti, actually, she rides on a... here it's shown as an antelope. In some places, I think she rides on an antelope. So anyway, she is actually called as a Lakshmi. And it is considered inauspicious actually. But actually in the spiritual world, she is also a representation of Lakshmi there. But in the material world, Lakshmi is considered kind of opposite of auspiciousness or opposite of wealth. So some people, they say, oh, Niritti resides here, so this part of the house is not good. So anyway, I just wanted to add that. That is all from Vastu Shastra, how they adapt Vastu Shastra from the spiritual world. So any questions, comments? I know this was difficult to follow, but if you have any questions, comments, please go ahead. Before that, I also wanted to address a few questions that were asked in the previous class. One was about the dhams in the spiritual world or Vaikuntha. One Mataji had asked if Rameshwaram and other dhams are also seen in the Vaikuntha realm. The answer is, specifically, each and every dham is not mentioned here in this chart, but an example that can be given is from Srila Prabhupada's purports, where he says there is a realm known as Parthasarathi Dham, where when he talks about Bhishma in the first canto, 9th chapter, passing away of Bhishma Dev, in the purport, Prabhupada also tells that Bhishma attained the spiritual world in Vaikuntha, where the eternal form of Parthasarathi resides. Okay. So, there are different forms. Yes, the different dhams are also expanded into the spiritual world. But currently here, this information is not elaborately given in the 7 avaranas that we discussed today. Okay, in the 7 avaranas, it's not discussed. But the other understanding is that you see so many four-armed forms of the Lord. Okay, so many. We just read the names of a few: Keshava, Madhava, Dokshaja. So many of them, Trivikrama, Vamana, Sridhara. So all these four-armed forms you can also see in the material world in different temples. So depending on the mood of the devotee, they attain that place in the spiritual world where their worshipable deity is present. So that is something I wanted to add. And this information about Ishana that I was talking about, Sadashiva who resides in the northeast, Jiva Goswami has elaborated in Krishna Sandarbha, and he gives complete details about this place. So any questions, comments, corrections especially, please let me know.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dhanma Pranam. To you, Mataji. Such beautifully summarizing this Vaikuntha plant. Just few questions.
Yes.
First of all, at the last you said about Ishana. So you said that Jiva Goswami has elaborated in Krishna Sandarbha. So if you have something in written and you can just send it, so that would be really great.
Okay, Mataji. I have to look it up. I just picked Laghu Bhagavatamrita for this class. But then I thought as we move on to Sadashivaloka, we'll see. So I'll definitely look it up and send Mataji.
Sure, Mataji. No worries. No hurries also. So you can take your time.
Okay.
And now my next, I have few questions. If I can go ahead.
Yes.
So the first thing is about the 7 avanas that you were telling. So my question is that this Vaikuntha planet, rather the Vaikuntha Dham, is it only the 7 avanas, or since the chart is limited that it's being shown like this, but there are multiple circles?
Answer is, I really don't know, because Laghu Bhagavatamrita, I kept the book and I wrote down from the book. And in the Padma Purana, it says, yes, the spiritual world is unlimited and there are so many planets in the spiritual world, but only the 7 avaranas are described in the Padma Purana, which Rupa Goswami writes about. Okay, so that is the information that we have. We just have information about the 7 avaranas. At the same time, yes, it is also correct that the spiritual world is unlimited and there are unlimited number of planets that are floating in the spiritual world. So I don't have a clear answer to your question, Mataji.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. And my next thing is that, yes, about when you were telling in the second hour now that, yes, there are, different expansions, the 24 Vishnu expansion in which Upendra, Hari and Krishna are there. You can understand that Krishna is not the 200 form, but the 400 Narayana form, right? Then why in the third circle, in the third hour now, when the 10 incarnations of the Lord are being mentioned, then why there Krishna is mentioned? Why not Balaram? Because we always say that the 8th incarnation is Balaram because Krishna is Mataji.
Let me probably read the verse from Laghu Bhagavatamrita, because of course there are some little bit changes in the chart as well. Let me actually pick. That's a good question that you have. I didn't think about it, but let me read.
ऊपर दे रहे हमारी तो हुई गई विद ऑलमोस्ट
Okay, I think I'll have it in my notes. Just one minute.
I think it's Laghu Bhagavata 1.5.291.
Okay, it is there on the slides. Yeah, okay, I can read from there then.
It's written on the
Matsya, that's all it's written, right? Beginning with Matsya, that's all it's written.
That's all it's written, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, Mataji, you can move forward. I don't want to take others' time also. Because my last question is in the next one.
If the verse itself, no, I just want to finish that. So the verse itself says that it is only the, the 10 incarnations beginning with Matsya Kurma. We don't know why they have put this particularly on the chart. Only these 10 incarnations, they have put Krishna and they have not put Balaram. I have no idea why they have done it that way. Because as such, we are just trying to use what Laghu Bhagavatamrita has said, right? So it just says beginning with Matsya Kurma. It doesn't list the entire list of incarnations. So
yeah, but the chart says it's Krishna.
Yeah,
the chart says
yeah, you're right. Yeah,
because that could again mislead. If somebody can bring up to this point and bring this chart, then it's very hard to explain that this Krishna is not the 200 form Krishna and the 8th incarnation is Balaram. Because
I got a purport that I think Gopi Paranadana Prabhu has written for the Laghu Bhagavatamrita. He says that, in that he says, you can see Krishna's abode is actually kept above in the 10 incarnations, and this is to indicate that his special supremacy, Krishna is especially supreme. To indicate his special supremacy, Krishna's abode is actually kept on the top part of the chart. Is it on the top part? Yeah. Yeah, that is all. That is all. Yeah. So it is there. It is Krishna's abode is there. And it says just to indicate his special supremacy, he takes the residence on top. That is Gopi Praranadana Prabhu's purport. That's all the information is given.
Basically, it's not on the top in the chart. It is on the side, and on the other side is also Parshuram. Anyway.
Yeah.
Now, the last question is, Mataji, like about you were mentioning in the next verse, that is 18th. In the fourth circle, the Laghu Bhagavata 1.5.292, but in the fourth circle of the spiritual sky, that is Satya, Achyuta, Ananda, Durga, Vivakshena, Gajanan, that is Ganesha, they are there in the 8 directions. And you mentioned that this Gajanan, which is also known as Ganesha, which is also the 400 form. But he is Vishnu. But in the picture, if you see, they have literally placed the Ganesha with the elephant face.
Yes, he's actually Ganesha with elephant face only. But okay, this is what it says. Satya, Achyuta, Ananta, Durga, Vishwaksena, elephant-faced Ganesha and the treasured Shankha and Padma are situated in 8 directions of the 4th shell. This Durga and Ganesha are not the deities of the material world, but they are prototypes, transcendental associates of Lord of Vaikuntha. Okay, and there is no Maya there, and they have purely spiritual bodies. So, did I say by any chance 400 Ganesha?
Yeah, you said 400.
Okay,
Ganesha.
Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe it's not 400 because I don't remember reading 400 Ganesha. I might, maybe it was a mistake from my side. Yeah.
So now my question is it gave rise to another question, that suppose if somebody who is worshipping Ganesha, then they can always say that we are not worshipping the demigod, but we are worshipping that Ganesha which is situated in the Vaikuntha planet. So what's the harm?
Yeah, so the answer to that is the Ganesha in the spiritual world is actually serving Lord Narayan. That is his mood there. So then he is also a servant of Lord, like how Vishwaksena is actually serving. Vishwaksena has 400 forms, okay? Vishwaksena has 400. Ganesha just has an elephant face, just for clarification. So Vishwaksena, Ganesha, Durga, all of them, what are they doing in the spiritual world? They are in turn actually serving the Lord. What is Makha personified or sacrifice personified doing there? They are serving the Lord. So the focus or the mood there is actually service to the Lord. So the people who are worshipping Ganesh in the material world are purely worshipping him, not in the mood that, oh, he's serving Lord Narayan, so I should serve Lord Narayan better. The mood here is to worship the demigod Ganesha, who has certain powers and who is able to satisfy certain desires of yours. So hence we can tell them the mood there is different.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Wait, I also wanted to read. Yeah, I just wanted to read the purport of Gopi Paranadana Prabhu of 291. The third shell includes 10 expansions beginning with Matsya and Kurma in the 10 directions. Gopi Prabhu writes in the purport, in the 10 directions, the 8 directions already mentioned plus above and below are Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narsimha, Vamana, Parashurama, Rama, Krishna, Buddha and Kalki. Among these, Krishna has his abode in the region above, indicating his supremacy. That's all. That's all he has given. Yeah. So Balarama is not there. I just wanted to clarify that. Yeah, you're right. There's no Balarama there.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Oh, thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the good questions. And if I get to know anything else, I will get back.
Sure. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Nice class, but I could not follow you completely. Like, it's very technical and very confusing, and I tried my best. My question to you is, Mataji, if our goal is Goloka Vrindavan, which you explained very well, which I understood, everybody understood very well, why should we know this part? I'm just asking, not in a sense to, my mood is not in that sense, Mataji. I just want to know for my understanding, like if our goal is Goloka Vrindavan, why is it necessary for us to know the details of this if that is not our goal?
Yeah, we don't have to know. The answer is we don't have to know. In that sense, yes, we don't have to know because that is not the goal. Our goal is different, so we don't have to know. But these are the details that is available, and our acharyas have put it down, and they've given it to us. Even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains how the spiritual realm is, and it also helps us understand the differences in the mood.
Yeah.
It helps us understand the differences in the mood, the variety of the spiritual world, what is available there, and what reinforce our goal. It helps us reinforce our goal, where we exactly want to go.
Yes, reinforces our goal also. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. It's a very nice detail. all the classes. Especially I like all the corner side, how they are reciting all the Ishana, all the Lakshmi's expansion. They all are very nice, Mataji, nicely explained. And I have a small comment in that Brother Sri Mataji Priya was telling Mataji. When I read the Srila Prabhupada book, Prabhupada was telling in one of the purport, if we want to go back to Godhead, just have a strong desire and want to go back to Godhead without knowing, means if we don't have desire to know anything, that is also available. But Prabhupada was telling, if somebody want to go back to Godhead through all the, if they want to see all the 7 planetary system, upper planetary system, Vaikuntha Loka, all the things is available. It's up to us and what kind of desire we develop. If just directly go on Goloka Vrindavan and stay directly stand pastime of the Lord, that is also available. But if we want to know all the planet, that time soul, that the soul can go and see all the things, means all the 7 planetary system, Vaikuntha, each and everything. That is just, I remember the point actually, Mataji.
Fantastic. That is true. That's why the whole Brihad Bhagavatamrita came by, right? Sanatana Goswami explained the travel of Gopakumar through all these planetary systems and everything. Yeah. And how Gopakumar was actually convinced that he actually wanted to go and play with Krishna and Goloka 2-arm form after seeing everything. So you're very nicely told, Anjana Gopika Mataji. Thank you so much for your input.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Where is the reference, Mataji? Where Srila Prabhupada has said this, Mataji?
Mataji, it is in the purport. I don't know which purport, but while I am reading, while I was reading Prabhupada Srimad Bhagavatam, actually in a Bhagavatam book only, but I don't know exactly where he said, but I read in the Bhagavatam purport, Mataji.
Oh, okay, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Vilasini, Mataji. Can I also add?
Yes. Please add.
So yes, as you said that knowing about the variegatedness, and as Anjana Gopika Mataji rightly said that yes, you should know. So the first sentence, like when she was asking that why do we need to know about all this when our aim and goal is Goloka Vrindavan? So the answer is that yes, you should know, because that's what even I heard from my seniors, that yes, you should know, because unless and until, because that's how the Bhagavatam goes. That's how the deity of Krishna goes. When you look at the deity of Krishna, you start with the lotus feet and then you come to the smiling face. When you read Bhagavatam, you start from the first canto and then come to the 10th canto. That's the way recommended by Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas. So why it is? Because unless and until you know the supremacy of Krishna, you cannot enjoy his intimate pastime. And knowing about Vaikuntha planet is knowing about the supremacy of Krishna. That you should know that what Krishna is, how he expands, and then only you can come and know about the intimate relationship towards Krishna. The second reason that is that once you've been taken by Vishnu Dutas and your aim is Golok Vrindavan, but still, that's what Nityananda Prabhu from that is Palace President, he was referring that once Vishnu Deva takes you, so they will give you all kind of, they'll tell you that this is Brahma Jyoti, so that you may get attracted to Brahma Jyoti. And then if you say no, and then they'll take you to the various Vaikuntha planets, and then you have to say no. But the moment, if you, at that time also, if you have the desire, wow, Krishna is looking so beautiful in the Narayan form, they'll simply drop you there, and then you will get your eternal position there. So if you know that yes, they are there in their Aishwarya mood, but I have to go to the Madhurya mood, so they'll take you more higher, like the Gokumara story. So they'll take you more. No, I just want to have a look on the blue color, the small cowherd boy. Only then you will come to the platform of Goloka Vrindavan, where they'll drop you there, and then you can be a participant in Krishna's intimate pastime. So unless and until we know about the Vaikuntha Dham, you cannot reach the Goloka Vrindavan. It's just a kind of a series of steps that you have to take. So just want to add.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. You so beautifully, vividly told it. Thank you.
Thank you, Preethi Das, very much. Yeah. Actually, I just, whatever I read, I just share what you explain very clearly, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Can I share my experience?
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Yeah, the very first time in 1969, when I was coming from India to here, very first time. And so then, didn't know how to go and where to go and whatever. And I didn't know much English either. So on the way, the plane stopped at entered in like an American air, but landed in Philadelphia. So then, because I didn't see, I don't know, because I only knew that I want to go to Baltimore, that's all. So I said, okay. So then everybody got out. And me and my two boys were sitting just there. They were small, and 2 and 4, like that. So then the air hostess came and said, you have to get up. I said, no, I want to go to Baltimore. That's when I go. So then, but yes, you have to get up here because the custom has to be done there. I didn't know that. So then it's a custom. So only I would need the word custom. So then I said, okay. So I went there. And the X-ray at that time they were taking and giving the big envelope. So that was by the side on a plane, because it couldn't fit in any whole handbag or anything. So then they brought my luggage there also, and they were looking. So when it's an X-ray, and but they didn't say X-ray, but they say X-ray. They were just looking. They said, where is? So then one person said X-rays. I said, oh, that's in the plane. Then I was sitting. So then he came and then brought the X-ray, and then everything came. And then plane was brought to Baltimore. So that's what I was. And then I said, okay, now this announced Baltimore. So I said, okay, good. So it's not so much a spiritual journey, it's a material journey, but this is the experience. When I read about the Gopakumar and heard about it, so that's what I wanted to say. Yes, Gopakumar knew that he just wanted Madan Mohan, a cowherd boy. He wants to play with him. It's like that. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Beautiful, Mataji. Thank you so much. Very nice example to understand. Yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Very, very wonderful. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam, all places class. Very, very wonderful class, detailed class. Actually, one of the complicated class. I have seriously. There were no such many details in Goloka Vrindavan as we have in Vaikuntha.
Even I felt the same. I thought this is going on and on and on. Goloka Vrindavan was very simple.
Yeah. Mataji, I have some doubts.
Okay.
As we see in Goloka Vrindavan chart in squares, we have Vedas, 4 Vedas there. And also we are seeing here as well Vedas are defined. What is the difference between these Vedas in Goloka Vrindavan and in Vaikuntha?
Both the Vedas are serving the Lord. First they're present in Goloka Vrindavan, and then they expand. Just like how the Lord's form and the abode expand, similarly the Vedas also they expand, and there they are engaged in serving Krishna, and here they are engaged in serving Lord Narayan. That's all. And the Vedas actually how it works is the sweat from the personified Vedas of the Vaikuntha realm, the Girija is actually created here. So they have different roles and they have different services. And we see that the knowledge was actually transferred from Krishna's flute to Brahma, right? Brahma heard Krishna's flute and he got an entire understanding. He also gets the understanding of creation. He gets everything. So Vedas is the knowledge, right? So it is there in both abodes and it descends to the material world from both abodes, from the respective forms of the Lord. So they are serving the Lord there. Did that help, Mataji?
Okay. And what is this lotus?
Which lotus, Mataji?
In 30th slide, where Niratti Devi is there.
Oh, that is the edge of the lotus, Mataji. I just wanted to show the different avaranas and the different deities residing there. And then we see southwest is Niratti. I just wanted to focus on the different guardian deities. Like here you have Vayu on the slide that I'm projecting, 31. So I just wanted to show them in focus. So they are not, it's a part of the edge of the entire chart, like here. So you see in the edge here, you see Niratti.
So everything is spiritual.
Everything is spiritual. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. They don't have their planets. They don't have their planets. They are just like a person.
Yes, they all, Mataji, every one of them have their planets and they take their residence in that part of the planet. That's all. Okay. So there are unlimited planets there and these associates are guarding there. Your question is whether that's a planet itself. Yeah, it should be a planet by themselves. Yes, they're guarding there in a planet. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mataji. And even these club, bow, arrows, everything is like planet. Their personalities.
Their personalities. So how you can understand that this person is Conch or Shankha personified is when you see his crown, on his crown he'll have the mark of Shankha. So like that you can make out, oh, this personality is Mr. Shankha, like that. Or this personality is Chakra, like that. And they actually come to the material world to serve the Lord. They expand and they come and they serve the Lord in different capacities.
And they are same as Lord Vishnu is holding. Means like what will Vishnu?
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. They are the weapons personified. What of Lord Vishnu himself.
Okay.
Yes, you're right.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you also, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preethi, Vilasini, Gopi, Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much for your association. Shri Goloka Dham ki jai. No words, Mataji, no words. Really, I hear first time from you and not a single second the mind is going here and there. Like our grandma is telling story and we are hearing more. We want to hear more like that, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you so much, Vanda Gopika Mataji, for your valuable association. Thank you.
Mataji, I hear 2-3 times, then only everything is clear. But it is, Mataji, touch to heart. Hari Bol, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Jai ho, your sincerity, Mataji. So sincere you are in a bhakti and special mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. There only one can speak this much knowledge and this much sincerely serve the Vaishnava, that it touch to heart to Vaishnava because you are so pure.
It's all glories to all our Guru Vargas and all the people before this who have explained this matter in detail. I was just trying to repeat, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much. Okay. So we'll end the call, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Is there no question for Mataji? And that's all. Vanchakalpataruveshcha kripa sindhu evacha Patitanama pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you, everybody. And then in our next session, we will continue from Viraja. We'll see Sadashiva Loka and other areas. So thank you all so much. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.